Yo. What's going on, people? It's your boy Brandon Brevon, Towns, host of that show called Sports Plus Life. How y'all doing today? Oh man, it's been a minute, almost a week, so yes, cut it off, turn it all the way off, huh? Oh man, I think it's been like a week. We got some things to talk about. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Brandon Brevon Towns. Again, this is Sports Plus Life. And if you're a first-time listener, definitely don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button and become part of the first part of the Sports Plus Life family. Any questions, comments, or concerns, definitely don't hesitate to leave it under that comment box. It would be nice because I don't think anybody's done it yet. But I'm a fair sport about it. I need to, I guess, get more subscribers and then maybe people will start to comment, but it's all good. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day in Richmond, Virginia. I believe it's 75 degrees outside, a wonderful spring day. I just got back not too long ago with my son and his school on a field trip to Henricus Park out in the Chesterfield area. And it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. It was decent. They ran late. That's in Henrico County for you. They ran late and then rushed us back. So that's definitely the county for you. But it is Thursday, April 18th, 2019. And again, we have some stuff to talk about. I definitely believe it was on the last time we talked was Saturday. And since then, it's definitely been a lot of things that has been going on. We are going to cover those topics. We will cover the NBA playoffs as well as Tiger Woods and the NFL schedules that were released last night, as well as a quarterback who just got the bizag. And we have some boxing to talk to. Y'all know I love my boxing. If there's nothing else you know about me, you know I love the sweet science. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right, so the first thing that I will again address will be the NBA playoffs, okay? They started last Saturday, and, I think, what have we gone to? I think every series has played at least 2 games. So the way we're looking right now, I'll start off in the Eastern Conference, just give a quick rundown before I make my certain points of emphasis. The Milwaukee Bucks are up 2-0 on the Detroit Pistons, and this is as simple as simple gets. The Bucks can play half of each quarter, and they'll still beat the Pistons. All they have to do is play. The Bucks have to play hard for about half of the quarter, each quarter. Play like 5-6 minutes hard each quarter. They'll beat the Pistons because the Pistons, and this is no disrespect to the Detroit Pistons, they're outgunned. They're outgunned, and their best player isn't even playing yet. Blake Griffin has missed Game 1 and Game 2 due to a knee injury. So you can pretty much book that one. I believe Detroit will come out and play better in Game 3 because I think they know us all on the line. But Milwaukee, I'm not reading that much into this with Milwaukee because, they're playing a wounded team that's just, even with Blake Griffin, they're not as good as Milwaukee. This 1-8 matchup is going like the way a 1-8 matchup should go. And then after that, we have the Toronto Raptors versus the Orlando Magic. Orlando stole Game 1 from the Raptors. They went into Toronto and won in a very exciting game. And Kyle Lowry, I don't understand. Kyle Lowry is just like, he's like, these nuts. He's like that fighter who is only good for half the fight, or maybe even 3/4 of the fight. He's like an 8-round fighter. But once it gets into the championship rounds around the 10th, 11th, and 12th, it's like he folds up. He didn't have a point in Game 1. You
suck.
And game 2 started off rocky, and he came through. The Raptors did even the series up. But this is why people have questions about Toronto. Because it's like when it gets to the playoffs, something just isn't there with them. And, we thought that may be different because with the trade for Kawhi Leonard, shipping DeMar DeRozan to San Antonio for Kawhi Leonard, everybody thought that would be different. Maybe it still will be, but Orlando's played very tough during the end of the regular season and in the playoffs. So that series is tied 1-1. Another tied series is the 3-6 matchup between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn stole game 1 in Philadelphia. In the game where everybody heard about Amir Johnson, who was inactive but was on his cell phone checking on his daughter, and Joel Embiid was looking down at the cell phone, whatever. I think that was a bit overblown because Amir Johnson was inactive, and his daughter, the report is that his daughter was very sick. So, I understand you shouldn't be I understand why the 76ers fined him because, you don't want to give the impression that that's okay. And of course, if your daughter is, we don't know how sick his daughter is, but if the daughter is that sick, maybe he should have been home if he was going to be inactive anyway. But, that they've gotten over that. The fact is that when he was on the cell phone, the Sixers were getting their asses kicked in the fourth quarter. And they bounced back. Now, they bounced back in a big way in Game 2. Game 3 is tonight. In the third quarter in Game 2, they scored 51 points. 51. That's tied for the most in NBA history for a quarter. But I'm going to get on the 76ers in a minute. Then to the 4-5 matchup. That's been two good games. I've heard some people, saying that this series was going to be boring or, I guess, 1980s-ish basketball. But what the hell is wrong with 1980-ish basketball? It was an era when real men played.
Biatch.
When you had players actually going out and playing 82 games, not this simple-ass load management crap that these athletes who are supposed to be so much bigger, so much faster, so much stronger, but don't have the endurance to do shit. But with that being said, the Boston Celtics are up 2-0. Kyrie Irving went off last night for 37 points. Uncle Drew is looking like he means business. And this is, mind you, he didn't play in the playoffs last year for the Celtics. So this is Boston Celtic fans' first chance to get to see playoff version of Kyrie. Now to the Western Conference. Now, what the big story has been in the Western Conference is, one, the Clippers and the Warriors are tied at 1. The number 1, heavily favored to win it all again, Golden State Warriors are tied with the Los Angeles Clippers. But the main thing is that Game 2, the Clippers were down by 31 points in the third quarter. 31 points. And came back to win in Golden State. Now, do I think the Warriors are in trouble? No, I don't. And I'll get into them in a moment, too. But that's embarrassing. And then, worst of all, DeMarcus Cousins tore his quad. And he's probably done for the playoffs. And I feel bad for him. Because, remember, he tore his ACL last year. And the Pelicans made the playoffs. He couldn't play. Now, in his first time in his career being in the playoffs, he played a game in 3 minutes. And now pretty much his playoff season is done. And probably with that, his chance at getting a max deal this summer. He's probably honestly going to have to sign another 1-year deal. If I was him, I would just stick around with Golden State. But I feel bad for him because, he's had bad luck the last 2 seasons when he's about to become a free agent. But I'll get into the Warriors in a minute. The 2-7 matchup, which is a good matchup. The Spurs and the Nuggets. The Nuggets being the 2 seed, the Spurs being the 7 seed. San Antonio took game 1, was dominating game 2, and then Jamal Murray went off in the fourth quarter and scored, I believe, 22 points in the fourth quarter and led the Nuggets to a come-from-behind victory. I still like the Spurs to win that series. I have to see it to believe it with Denver, mostly because of their youth and inexperience. I'm not saying they can't play. They've been a good team all year. I just don't believe. I have to see it to believe it. The 3-6 matchup, which is probably the most surprising, is the 3rd-seeded Portland Trail Blazers versus the 6th-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder. I said that last year when Portland was a 3 seed that they were a fraudulent 3 seed, and it proved to be true because they got swept by the New Orleans Pelicans. I kind of thought they were a fraud 3rd seed this season, but that hasn't been the case. They're up 2-0, and Damian Lillard is balling. CJ McCollum is balling. Damian Lillard is balling Russell Westbrook up right now. He really is. And what's crazy is that the Thunder is favored to win this series. I don't know how you do that. I mean, I guess I can understand, but that's like showing no respect for the 3rd seed that is the Portland Trail Blazers. But I think this is going to be a long series. I think Oklahoma City is going to take care of their business at home. They better. And then we'll see what happens. This could very well be a 7-game series. And then the 4-5 matchup, which has been a flat-out joke. The Houston Rockets versus the Utah Jazz. Houston blew them out in game 1, blew them out in game 2. So we'll see what happens with the Jazz when they get back to the Delta Center, but they've looked awful. They look like they should be an 8th seed the way that they have played the first 2 games in Houston. Now, 2 teams I want to specifically talk about, and I'll start with the champions, the Golden State Warriors. Like I said, nothing I would be, shaking in my boots about, but Kevin Durant needs to get his shit together. I mean, I don't know what's going on, and I'm a KD fan, but it's like he just has this attitude. Maybe it's because he knows he's leaving Golden State. I don't know. But if he already has 2 feet out the door, win you this chip. You know what I'm saying? That way you can say that you've caught up with LeBron. You can you'd have 3 rings. Anybody who still questions the move to Golden State, especially if you get 3 rings and 3 Finals MVPs, you can tell them shut the hell up. But all of this, and I'm for passionate and I'm for shit talking players too. But it's a time and a place to do that. And now is not the time, especially when Patrick Beverley has been all over you like flies to shit.
Kevin Durant. You know who I am.
He has not let you breathe. And this dude is 9 inches shorter than you. So, get your stuff together, man. Get it together.
Hey, if you don't like it, go to Russia.
And like I said, shame for DeMarcus Cousins, but they did sign Andrew Bogut, I want to say about a month ago, which was huge because he knows the system. He was with the Warriors on their 2015 championship team and their record-setting regular season of 2016. Now, the team I really actually want to get into is the Philadelphia 76ers. The Philadelphia 76ers, on paper, as far as starting lineups go, have the best outside of the Golden State Warriors. Now that DeMarcus Cousins is hurt, you can say that they have the most talented starting lineup. But either they need a stricter coach or they just need to just grow up. One or the other. But the Philadelphia 76ers, I don't know if this success is coming too early for them. And by that, I'm talking about Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. Because Jimmy Butler's a grown-ass man. J.J. Redick's a grown-ass man. Tobias Harris is a grown-ass man. But they're not the centerpieces of the Philadelphia 76ers. Okay, now I understand Joel Embiid is playing hurt, this, that, and the third, which poses as a problem. For one, Joel Embiid needs to drop about 25, 30 pounds. You're 7'2", you're 310 pounds, and you're not in shape, and that's not going to bode well for your knees. Okay, and I understand you say that you're the baddest player in the NBA and whatnot, or at least in the Eastern Conference. Dude, you need to prove it. Let the Dwight Howardness of you go just a little bit. I mean, people say that you're fun-loving like Shaq. I'm starting to see more Dwight Howard, which wasn't a problem, except you really couldn't tell when he was really serious, when it mattered most. You knew what you were getting with Shaq. As fun and as lovable as Shaquille O'Neal was on and off the basketball court. And it's a problem. And then Ben Simmons has the potential to be the best player in the league. But I have a problem with a player who wants to be a point guard who can't shoot, who doesn't even attempt to shoot outside of 5 to 8 feet. That's a problem because when the game gets tough, you become a liability. Which means when you're on offense and the opposing team is on defense, they're pretty much playing 4-on-5 because your offensive game is so limited. It's ridiculous. Ben Simmons, if he developed a jump shot, would probably win the MVP immediately. But he has a nonchalant attitude and he talks shit about the Philly fans who booed his terrible effort in game 1 against the Nets. Now, he responded. He had a triple-double in game 2, but we need to see that consistently. And news report just came out today that the Sixers wanted to trade him during the season. Now, that I think is just stupid. And I'll tell you why. Because I can understand the notion because Ben Simmons is such a liability when it comes down to crunch time. The Sixers would, if Ben Simmons had a consistent jump shot, I'd have the Sixers as the favorite to get out of the East. But here's why you can't trade him. This is why you can't trade him. Because I don't believe Joel Embiid is going to be in the league so much longer. Because he's always having problems with his knees, which is why he needs to drop about 25, 30 pounds. Joel Embiid is arguably the most skilled big man in basketball, maybe, between him and Giannis. But he is always injured. Always. He has to miss games because of knee issues, this, that, and the third. 7'2". And what I'm starting to see with Joel Embiid is Andrew Bynum syndrome. And I hope I'm wrong because I really enjoy watching him play. I think he's a great personality and he can flat out ball. But if he doesn't start taking his conditioning more seriously, if you're Philadelphia, you can't let go of Ben Simmons. You can't, because by the time because I believe in about 5 seasons, Embiid is going to be done. And he would only be about, 28, 29 years old? I believe in 5 years, Joel Embiid is going to be finished unless he truly, truly starts taking care of himself as far as conditioning with basketball. But Ben Simmons, now himself, it's crazy how he is pretty much the same player now that he was when he came out of college. And he was in college 3 years ago. Start shooting jump shots, bruh. I mean, it's crazy. And the thing is that he doesn't even try. Dennis Rodman would try to take jump shots, and we knew he wasn't a jump shooter. But sometimes he would say, oh, the hell with it, and just shoot a jumper. Ben Simmons doesn't even do that. I mean, they said that Magic Johnson, when he came out of Michigan State, couldn't shoot. Magic took care of that quickly and became a dangerous spot-up three-point shooter and became about a 90 to 93% free throw shooter. Ben Simmons shoots under 50%. I have a problem with point guards or players who say they want to be a point guard who cannot make jump shots and cannot make free throws. Did we not learn anything from this past NCAA tournament? Free throws matter. They're called free. Take advantage of them. The fuck? I mean, what the fuck, Knuckles, is wrong with these players that they don't prioritize free throw shooting? It's just crazy. It's a lack of professionalism for what their profession is. It really is. And like I said, Embiid, I don't see him being around. Where was this with all the big guys 25, 30 years ago? You never heard about, 7-footers. And in the NBA in the 80s and 90s, it was a lot. It was way more than it is now. You never heard about this stuff happening. But these athletes today are supposed to be so much bigger, so much faster, so much stronger, but they're not durable. They're not. So I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, there would be centers like Jim McIlvain who would stick around and have a 12-year career, would have long careers, and John Concack, and these are all 7-footers. Kevin Duckworth. These are all 7-footers who played in that era in the 80s and 90s when damn near every team had a 7-footer. And they lasted. What the hell is wrong with these dudes today who are so much more skilled? I mean, get your big ass in the post and live there. Knees might last better. You didn't hear about this with David Robinson and Patrick Ewing and, you didn't even hear about it with Shaq. Shaq played 19 years. You didn't hear about this with Akeem Olajuwon, Vlade Divac. And Divac was one of the originals. Him and Bill Laimbeer was one of the originals as far as big men who would step back and shoot the three. Laimbeer was really, Laimbeer really had mastered that shit. But point I'm trying to make is that the Philadelphia 76ers need to get it together because they could very well be in a dogfight against the Brooklyn Nets. And they are supremely talented. But this little I got this attitude, you ain't got nothing because you ain't won nothing. So that's the way I wanted to look at the playoffs. Discuss that a little bit longer than I wanted to. But now I'm going to get into the main topic of discussion come this past Monday. Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods won the Masters for the first time since 2005. Now, let me clarify. I wouldn't know nothing about what's going on if I was watching a game of golf. I'm not going to be talking about Tiger Woods to talk about how he putted, how eagled, bogey, par, whatever those terms are, because I don't watch golf. I don't. I might watch a couple of minutes if Tiger is on there, but I'm not a golf head. I'm not going to lie to you. Like I said, I wouldn't know who was winning or who was losing. But what I'm going to talk about with Tiger Woods is the road back. You're talking about quite a story of redemption. A lot of people are calling it the greatest comeback in American sports history. Definitely a story of redemption. To me, goes right along with the story of UVA winning the national championship in men's college basketball. But his road was definitely a longer road traveled. Tiger Woods was on top of the world in the late 90s and early 2000s. Number one golfer in the world, dominating the game like no one ever has and maybe ever will in golf history. I believe the number one Forbes paid athlete for a long stretch. Number one golfer in the world, and had built himself to iconic status. He was carrying his sport. The first thing you thought about with golf was Tiger. Ratings were at an all-time high with golf. Tiger Woods was the man. And then, one day, everything came crashing down. I believe it was the day after Thanksgiving in 2009 when he got into a car accident, and all of these ghosts that were in the closet reared its ugly head. It was come to the world's attention that Tiger Woods had not been a faithful husband. He'd been a decent father, but had not been a faithful husband. He was just getting around. He was just getting around, paying women, giving women wads of cash to, have sex with them, and he was arrested. He was arrested for the driving charge for the accident because he was too inebriated, drunk or high off pills, whatever. And you talking about a fall from grace. Now, one thing I will say, when you're an athlete and you have the type of status that Tiger Woods has or something close to it, and you find yourself in situations like this where you're exposed, there's one thing that cures all: winning. Winning cures all. I'm not saying that it's right, but in the eye of the sports world, if you have a scandal, and that's what this was, if you have a scandal against you, the only thing that can clean it up quickly is by you performing at your job, by you winning and getting everybody's mind off of the fact that you're really not what people have perceived you to be. And the worst thing that could have happened to Tiger Woods was he stopped winning during this whole time. His body started to break down.
What about the wiener?
So you already have the scandal. Your personal life is exposed for the world to see. You've been exposed as a fraud. And the one thing that you always knew that you could depend on, you weren't succeeding at that anymore. And it was in the public's eye. Everybody was saying, well, we knew what was wrong with Tiger, but when is Tiger going to start winning again? When is Tiger going to start winning again? Eventually, he fell from being the number one golfer in the world. And a couple of years ago, I'll say maybe around like 6-7 years ago, he had built himself back up to being the number one golfer in the world. But his body was deteriorating in front of our very eyes. And not to mention that he just didn't seem right after this scandal. Like I said, his wife filed for divorce. He lost his family. And it was because he got too full of himself. Have y'all ever heard the phrase, karma's a bitch? Well, that is something that Tiger Woods had to deal with. Karma was a big old biatch. Because when you're perceived to be, because you're on commercials, because you're winning tournaments, because you're having success and you're winning loads of money, and one thing about this country, one thing about the world, we love winners. And you're built up, and you're built up to be this perfect individual. You won your tournaments, you were hugging your dad because your dad had built you up to do this for your whole life. And then after he died, you won another tournament and you broke down emotionally because it was for your father. You got the Tiger Woods Foundation. All the while, what the public did not see is that you were running around being as unfaithful as unfaithful could be. All the while, you were acting like a hoe, for lack of a better term. And then on top of that, there were reports that you just wasn't a nice person. And you know why? It's because you were very full of yourself. You started drinking the Kool-Aid. And you know what? He's a human being, just like everybody else. It happens. When you're told all the time by everybody that you encounter how great you are, how I want my kids to grow up to be like you, and Tiger. And golf merchandise for Nike is at an all-time high. Golf merchandise outselling basketball merchandise because of this man. You start to drink the Kool-Aid. You start to believe your own hype. And you start thinking, I can do whatever I want because I am said individual. Because everybody loves me. And Tiger Woods was not living right. This was what it was. He was not living right. And like I said, it's a human being. This happens. I mean, it just doesn't happen to athletes. It happens to anybody. There comes a point, and that, you don't want it to happen, but there are times where there comes a point in your life where you just really start feeling yourself, or you're fed up, you've had it, whatever, but you just stop living right. And people have this perception of you, because you can carry yourself to be this way, all the while you live in two different lives. You live in two different lives. Men do it, women do it. And it's just worse when you are in the public eye because it's not just a family business type of thing that gets exposed. You've been exposed to the whole world. And that's what happened to Tiger Woods. And like I said, on top of that, he was not winning. And then it came to a point where his body was just so broken down. A couple of years ago, he said he was done. He was having back problems. His last surgery was a spinal surgery to fuse his spinal cord together. How the hell are you going to play golf? How the hell are you going to walk? He said that he struggled just to get out the bed. He struggled to get off the floor when he wanted to play with his kids. He said that I knew I would be around the game of golf. I didn't know if I was necessarily going to be a participant. So the fact that he won the Masters and did it in a completely different way than what has always been reported, because, you know, the way Tiger would do tournaments in the past was he'll just lap you from start to finish. And he had to do come from behind to win this Masters. He'll probably appreciate this tournament win more than any other of the 15 major tournaments that he has won. You know why? Because a humbling road makes you really appreciate success. When you get humbled, the way that Tiger Woods got humbled, where you were exposed for really what you were at that time, a liar, an adulterer, that's what he was. When you get exposed for that, and then you have to make this long journey back, and it's not just mental that you have to, it's not just a mental hurdle that you have to climb. You have to climb a physical hurdle too. That makes the success so much more worth it. Because again, a humbling road will really make you appreciate success. I just hope that he stays humble. Now, I believe he's 2 or 3 more majors away from passing Jack Nicklaus for the all-time mark. I mean, he's 43 years old. I don't know if he's going to do it or not. Quite frankly, I don't care. Because like I said, I don't watch golf. But if he does start to have success and starts to go on a run where he wins a few in a row, you just hope that the change is real and legit. Because I did watch the interviews. This dude really appears like he has changed. That this experience, did something to his life as well as it should have. And that he's really a changed person. And now the world has fallen in love with Tiger Woods all over again. Because of, like I said, we love winning. And when an iconic figure wins, you see how quickly most of us jump back on board. But if he's changed, God bless him. But people don't understand when you have that type of pressure and that type of humiliation come your way and you say you're going to change. Like I say, a lot of people say they're going to change. A lot of people swear out they're going to change. But people don't really understand the true definition of the word change in one's life. Okay? You have to, if you're going to change, everything around you that was either a positive effect or a negative effect needs to be completely reversed. By that, I mean, some people don't always change for the better. But if you're going to change for the better, you have to change everything about yourself, everything around you. You can't just sit here and say, I got this new mindset. I got this new method of thinking. That ain't a change. That's a New Year's resolution. That's all that is. When you say that you're going to change, you have to change your circle of people, not just your method of thinking, the way you do things on a daily basis, all of your habits. The problem is why people have such a hard time fully changing is because they worried about disappointing other people. The people who are used to you doing things on their agenda, but it might not be good for you. And maybe Tiger Woods had a circle of people like that. But if you're going to change, you got to change everything around you. And that's not just for Tiger Woods. That's for everybody. I mean, if you're an alcoholic, it's going to be hard to change if you continue to hang out with a bunch of alcoholics. If you a pothead and you want to stop smoking weed, it's going to be hard to stop smoking weed if you hang out with nothing but potheads. I don't give a damn who they are to you. I'm just saying. But what I heard in Tiger Woods' voice is a person who has really, really, really genuinely changed. And I hope it stays that way, because fame is a drug. Once you start getting that attention, that hype, you can start feeling yourself all over again. And I just hope that these lessons, this 10-year journey that he's been on, I hope it continues for as long as he walked this earth. So that's what I wanted to talk about when I said Tiger Woods. I didn't want to talk about how he drove the ball and how he putted. I don't give a damn personally, because like I said, I don't watch golf. But I wanted to talk about the road back to glory for Tiger Woods. And hopefully this time he will be a nice person, because people get that twisted. Like I said, because of the perception that you may have, whether it's a public perception or whether it's a perception in your circle. If you're not living right, you're not living right. You could feed the homeless on the weekend, and you could donate to charities on a regular basis. If you out having affairs on your husband or wife, you still a goddamn cheat. You still living foul. That's not going to change that. You could work for the Boys and Girls Club, part-time, volunteer, all the time. But if you going out, in your second life, screaming gang, 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 and dropping people, you still ain't living right. So let's just hope Tiger continues to live right. And congratulations to him. So, my next topic. Last night, the schedules were released in the NFL. And I guess the big thing that people are talking about is the Cleveland Browns. They have 4 primetime games. I mean, look, Cleveland Browns has been making some moves. People are buying in, and good for them. They've been a horrible franchise. They've been a horrible franchise for the last 25 years. I mean, they have 3 of their primetime games, I believe, happen in the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season. So they're gonna be in the bright lights. There's a lot of hype on them, and we shall see. I mean, week 1, this is the 100th year of the NFL, and instead of having the defending Super Bowl champions kick off the league on Thursday night, they're going to do the oldest rivalry in the NFL, which is the Packers and the Bears. Green Bay at Chicago. And the Patriots will play, that Sunday night. They'll play the Pittsburgh Steelers. How the hell the Patriots have an easy schedule the first half of the season? How they do that? Their first 8 games are against teams that did not make the playoffs. What? Really? I mean, that's crazy. The Patriots' first 8 games are home against the Steelers, at the Dolphins, home to the Jets, at the Bills, at the Redskins, home to the Giants, at the Jets. I mean, we just don't want to ever see another quarterback in the Super Bowl from the AFC. That's what I'm getting from it. Out of those first 8 games, I see 2 tough ones. The opening night game against the Steelers, who they own, by the way, and their week 2 game against the Dolphins, because Miami always plays them tough at home. Although I will say this, They just got rid of Ryan Tannehill, and their starting quarterback now is Ryan Fitzpatrick. And the Dolphins think they're going somewhere. But I don't know, early season Ryan Fitzpatrick is usually pretty good. It's just once you get past week 5 that he starts to play like doo-doo. So, yeah, but how they do that with the Patriots? I mean, damn. And my Broncos will play Monday night, the second game of the now annual Monday night doubleheader at Oakland, which will be Antonio Brown's debut for the Oakland Raiders. So, schedules came out. That's cool. Don't know if I'll be going to the Eagles home opener like, we usually done, but we missed last year. They play the Redskins. I mean, that would be cool. I don't know how expensive tickets would be, but I would like to go. But in other NFL news, Russell Wilson got the bizag. Man, oh man. Russell Wilson just hit the lottery. The lottery. I'm talking about the highest quarter. He is now the highest paid player in the NFL. He just signed a $140 million contract deal with $65 million in guaranteed money just to sign his name to the paper. Man, oh man, oh man. And because there was talks, he put them on he gave them an ultimatum. You either sign me to a long-term deal by April the 15th, or I'm not signing with you. And Seattle gave in. And I'm not saying that he hasn't deserved it, because to me, he has. Russell Wilson's a hell of a quarterback. He has his game sometimes where, his stats are kind of just like, what? But look at what he's really had to work with over the years, particularly since the Legion of Boom has broken up. I mean, Marshawn Lynch, gone. Jimmy Graham, gone. Jermaine Kearse, gone. You still have Doug Baldwin, who to me is like a poor man Steve Smith. But he's productive. But name me a true superstar wide receiver that Russell Wilson has ever played with, and he's been in the league since 2012. So I have to say that he, congratulations. He deserves it. I mean, the fact that he's being paid more than Aaron Rodgers, that's surprising, but you know what? Good for you. And they were also saying that Russell Wilson might get traded to the Giants because Mrs. Russell Wilson wasn't too happy in Seattle. Sierra. And you knew Sierra was going to play a big part. You knew it. But when you get that thrown at you, you know what? I don't plan on living my long-term life in Seattle, but for $140 million, yeah, I'll stay here for about 4 more years. And, they did the whole Instagram post after the deal was done, them laying in the bed. They're a cute couple. I didn't think they would last long because, celebrity marriages, but, they look really happy. They look like they are really into each other. Shit. I wish that my wife would look at me the way that Sierra looks at Russell Wilson. I don't know if it's because, he's the breadwinner and he just got the serious bag. He got the bags, or, because she really love him, or a combination of both. But I wish I got that wink. I wish I got that look. So definite shout out to Russell Wilson. And you know where Russell Wilson is from? He's from Richmond, VA. Remember that. Highest paid player in the league. Black quarterback from Richmond, VA. And is a Super Bowl champion. Shout outs, Big Russ. Got that bag. And now next on the agenda, we have a welterweight championship fight Saturday night. And it is between Terrence Crawford and Amir Khan. Now, this is an interesting fight. Before I go on, I just want to assure the people out in listening land that this is a pay-per-view fight, and I'm not going to order it. I'm not. Be tempted, but I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. So, of course, Terrence Crawford is the champion, 34-0. And a lot of people are kind of like, why this fight, But I think, every major fight needs a prelim. And to me, this is a prelim to a major showdown with Errol Spence Jr. This is one of the 3 fights in boxing that absolutely have to be made. The other ones are Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, and one that people might be surprised, but I think that it needs to be made. Vasily Lomachenko versus Mikey Garcia. These fights have to be made. They have to be made. So, of course, Terrence Crawford has to take care of his business. Now, Amir Khan is no slouch. He can box. He's very quick. He's elusive, and he's a natural welterweight. When he moved up to fight Canelo, he was asking for it. Just like Mikey Garcia, when he moved up 2 weight classes to fight Errol Spence Jr., he was asking for it. And they took the money. But Amir Khan to me is a very live underdog because of his skill set. He does have a damn good skill set. But I believe that Bud Crawford will get this done because he has a bag of his own to collect if he fights Errol Spence Jr. Because now, if that's on pay-per-view, that one I will order. Absolutely. So, man. With that being said, what a buzzer. All right. I'm going to do a live segment that has got me excited. 1 week from today, do you know what is coming out? Do you know what will finally be released, even though some people tried to pull some bullshit and leak some stuff? The Avengers Endgame. Oh, I can't wait. And we already got our tickets. The official release is April 26th, but they do the day early thing. So April 25th, next Thursday, I'm going to get a chance to see Captain America and Iron Man whoop some ass, and the Hulk better come back. We got to see how they going to retaliate after half of the universe done disappeared because of Thanos' snap. We got to see what's up. Black Panther got to come back, man. Vision, Wanda, they got to come back. No, Vision just laying there dead. I don't think he disappeared. But Wanda got to come back. Falcon got to come back. We need these people. Nick Fury's got to come back. And I finally saw Captain Marvel, so I'm not behind the timeline. Captain Marvel's bad somebody. I mean, she's like the Superman of the MCU. How the hell you gonna beat her? Shit. If I'm Captain America or Iron Man, I'm glad she's on our side. That joint was crazy at the end of Captain Marvel, when Nick Fury got the alert off just before he disappeared, and they got it in their headquarters, and they're like, I want to know who's on the other end of that device. And as soon as Black Widow turned around, whew, she right there. Where's Fury? Can't wait. Avengers Endgame. Doctor Strange got to come back. Spider-Man got to come back. Star-Lord got to come back. They got some ass to whip. Come on, Endgame. 3 hours. 3 hours. They are really testing the patience of the American public. 3 hours. But I believe this is going to be the biggest. It's going to break Infinity Wars. This is going to be seen as the first ever $2 billion movie. And it wouldn't surprise me because they left motherfuckers in tears after Infinity Wars. Get up. Get up. This is no place to die. Oh, man, my soul was hurt. Not the Panther. Miss Stark, I'm sorry. I don't want to go. I'm sorry. They tugged on people's heartstrings when little Peter Parker got disintegrated. Stressing me out. I need to watch it again, get myself amped up. Anyway, this is your boy, Brandon Brevon Towns. This has been another episode of Sports Plus Life. Can you believe that this is episode number 40? Again, if you are a first-time listener, don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button. And I will holler at you guys later. Lots of playoff action tonight. Peace.